I'm Alice's niece. When I was a very little girl, I was a bit daunted by my Aunt Alice. She was bigger than life to me. She had an earnest, direct gaze when she talked to me. She was always soft-spoken, pretty, and poised. I didn't know what any of those things meant at 5 years old. Suffice it to say, I found her somewhat intimidating. But I also deeply admired her. In those days, we lived very close by, and one night we were at Alice and Wick's for dinner. One thing I absolutely loved about visiting the Skinner house was their dog. She was big, black, and so beautiful, and I just so badly wanted a dog. I loved dogs and didn't understand why we couldn't have one. I desperately wanted to make friends with Amanda, so as we were finishing dinner, I handed her a piece of bread under the table. Alice, ever aware, said in her soft, firm voice, "Rachel, we don't feed dogs at the table." I was absolutely mortified, and I felt the sting of tears. Funny thing was, the tears weren't because of being caught. The tears were because I disappointed her. Alice loved dogs, and they were always a part of her life. In fact, it's hard to imagine Alice without a dog somewhere nearby. I've never seen the Skinner household without one or two dogs. I picture them now, walking with Alice in the garden, running down the field to banish the interlopers, checking on us through the sliding glass doors at treetops, swimming in the pond, or curled by the fire on a winter's evening. From Otis to Dorio, they've been well-behaved, beautiful, each and every one. I'm a veterinarian. I'm supposed to know a fair bit about dogs, and I do. But I've also been able to learn a thing or two from Alice. For years, she's fed her dogs a completely homemade diet. No kibbles and bits for her dogs. Oh, no, no. One year recently, Tim and I had occasion to be staying at Treetops when Alice was away for the night. We joyfully went to spend the evening with Wickham. Tim, who's a terrific cook, cooked for us all, while I prepared the dogs' dinner. Tofu, chopped, carrots, shredded, celery, sliced, barley, scooped. Sprinkle on the powders, a bit of oil atop it all, and stir. A yum. The dogs dove into their food that night like they always do. Rarely do I see labs that are as beautiful, fit, and healthy as Alice's beloved Baker and Dorio have been. I attribute it to her strict rules about diet. In fact, over the years, I've become so impressed by their health that I've shared with many clients the tales of Alice's success with her dog's homemade diet regime. Tim and I have even stepped on that bandwagon ourselves for our own dogs. Rarely have I seen dogs live as long as Baker did and look as incredible. That was the epitome of Alice. She learned something, she found that it worked, she stuck by it, and in her quiet, non-judgmental way, showed us all how successful it could be. I'm as sure as I can be that Baker and all of her predecessors surround Alice now, and the 5-year-old in me would like to imagine that perhaps she's even willing to slip them a tidbit from the table now and then.